Welcome to Heavy Talk. I'm your girl, Heaven Sharnice, aka Heavie, and I am back on another episode of Heavy Talk, here to serve up some straight talk with no chaser. Happy Heavy Talk Friday. We have made it through the work week. Congratulations, shout out to us. I am going to hold you up too much. We're going to get right into the episode, starting with our weekly word, because I like to serve you up some motivation, some inspiration, first thing, as soon as you cut the episode on. So our word of the week, our weekly word is presence. Be present. Live in the present. Don't let life pass you by. Now, I chose this word because there's been so much going on, whether you just see different people, maybe famous people go through stuff health-wise, maybe you know people that's going through something health-wise, just seeing all that's going on with the environment. It's just overall, it's been a reminder for me that life is just really, really short, that just days, our time here is not promised. So it was a reminder for me to make sure that I seize every moment and make sure that I'm living in the present. So that means just being present when I'm talking to my loved ones. Sometimes you can tell when someone is not being present in the conversation. You can tell when their mind is drifting off somewhere else. So I've been trying to work on being present. Sometimes I can also get so caught up in planning for my future that I just forget to just take advantage of my present, or, just be so planning for my future that I don't realize that what I'm currently living in has been all that I've been praying for, that this life that I'm in now, the current circumstance that I'm in now, the journey that I'm in now, this is what I was praying for. So I just need to make sure that I never lose sight of that and make sure that I'm always living in my present and seizing every single moment that passes my way. So that's my weekly word, to make sure that you're being present, make sure that you're living in the present, because our days here, our time here is not promised. You just never know. So take advantage of every opportunity. Just check that stuff off your bucket list, stuff that you've been wanting to do. Go ahead and do it. Those people that you've been saying, I'm going to call them next week, go ahead and make the call. Just be present, live in the present, and show up for yourself and others. Now let's get right into today's episode. I want to first give you just some Heavy Talk Media updates as always, and to remind you that the scholarship cycle for the Black blog and Heavy Talk Media has opened. It has been open since July 1st. As you see, my backdrop is always my lovely scholarship check. If you don't know that much about it, I'm going to give you a quick recap, a quick summary. So my brands, the Black blog, and my brand Heavy Talk Media offers a quarterly Black business scholarship. It's run nomination based, so you can nominate your favorite business, or if you're a Black business owner who you feel like, I am doing a darn thing, nominate yourself. It is free 99 to nominate. There's no tricks, it's no gimmicks, it's straight just like that. So to nominate or to learn more about the scholarship, visit the Black blog. Let's get into what's been going on at Texas A&M. So the story goes, there's a professor, Dr. Kathleen McElroy. She was recruited to Texas A&M to restart their journalism program. Now, Dr. Elroy, she's a Texas A&M graduate. She used to be the former director of the University of Texas at Austin School of Journalism, and she also used to work at the New York Times. So she's well-credentialed. She's a Black woman who is doing the darn thing. So when news broke out that she was going to be going over to Texas A&M to restart their journalism program, this was great news. There was this big sign-in party that just let us, the public, know that this was going to be happening. Now, as I always say, if we, the people, are finding out about this, that means that something went horribly wrong. Honestly, sadly, it is a rarity that we really find out about something when it's positive. We usually find out about something when it's negative, and that is, in fact, what has happened here. So they recruited Dr. Elroy over. It is said that she was supposed to have a 5-year deal with tenure. Now, once this signing party happened, once they went public, that's when stuff started to go fishy. According to Dr. Elroy, in the article that I read from the Texas Tribune, they started with a 5-year deal with tenure. Then Dr. Elroy said that she was informed by people at Texas A&M that they were facing pressure from higher ups and that stuff was going wrong with her deal. The person who she talked to didn't really tell her where the pressure was coming from, but they told her that there was, in fact, political pressure and that people had a problem with her background, specifically her work at the New York Times in articles and pieces that she's done on race and diversity, essentially all things that are Black. So with that being said, they went from offering her a 5-year deal to offering her a 1-year deal with tenure. WTF. WTF. This lady, Dr. Elroy, had already told her previous employer that she was going to be leaving to take on a role somewhere else. You already did send her a contract offer with a 5-year deal with tenure. Then after facing pressure, because people don't like the fact that she wrote about DEI or stuff, related to Black people in the Black culture, now you're gonna take her offer away and give her a 1-year deal. That's what the story is. Once this came out, once the Texas Tribune article came out, this whole story blew up. The reason why I know about this is because I watch Roland Martin Unfiltered, and he is a Texas A&M graduate. So this is something that he covered on his show, that it was very embarrassing for him as an alum that something like this would happen. Since this news has come out, it's really been a whole debacle. I watched a faculty senate meeting with the Texas A&M faculty where they were talking to the president of Texas A&M about what exactly happened. What happened where what caused her to be given a 5-year deal? What happened in between there where it went from a 5-year deal to her being offered a 1-year deal? What exactly happened? The faculty were quoting the article where it stated that there was pressure from higher ups that led to her offer being taken from a 5-year deal to a 1-year deal. During this faculty meeting that I watched, which is available on YouTube, it's 3 hours long, but honestly, it's worth watching the full 3 hours. I've never seen such a thing. Like, it was a hot mess. The president of Texas A&M was basically saying that there was never like a second contract that was offered, that Dr. Elroy was only offered a 5-year deal, and that at any time, even now, that she could still take that offer and that she could still work at Texas A&M. Her story just is not making sense, because essentially she wants us to believe that Dr. Elroy made up this whole story, that at first she was offered a 5-year deal, and that people that actually work at Texas A&M were telling her that there was pressure, that people didn't like her background, and that race was playing a part in this. So that's why her offer was changed from a 1-year deal. The president of Texas A&M was saying that this was not true, that they don't have any record of, any different offers, that the only records that they really have is the 5-year deal, that there was not any outside pressure. Like, honestly, essentially what I gathered is that she was saying that Dr. Elroy was like lying, that the Texas Tribune article was not true, and her own staff during the meeting was like, we seriously doubt that the Texas Tribune would publish this article if it was not true. And they also went on to say that in this article, the Texas Tribune said that they actually have these that they have the actual offer letters. So it wasn't like that they just took Dr. Elroy's word. They said that they in fact had looked at the offer letters, and in fact what did happen, they did offer her a 5-year deal, and then they did come back and they did offer her a 1-year deal, saying that they could fire her at any point. The meeting was a debacle. I watched it. Shortly after, the president of Texas A&M resigned. The same lady who I said during the meeting, she was saying that she was saying it was not true, that they had only offered her the 5-year deal, that at any time she could still come and take the deal, that she wished that Dr. Elroy had, reached out to her, and that they could have talked it over. And it was, honestly, she was saying like it was a big old misunderstanding. This same president has since resigned. Now, in more news, you can say that she resigned because the head of Texas A&M Department of Communications and Journalism's lawyer, his personal lawyer, put out a statement. He put out the Texas Senate meeting happened with the president of Texas A&M and the staff, and they were talking about what happened, what's going on with this whole, debacle. Is what was stated in the article true? That's what the meeting was about. After this meeting, the next day, the president of Texas A&M resigned. I will go back and say that during this meeting, the staff was not buying anything that she was saying. So much so that they decided that they were going to start their own fact-finding inquiry, that they were going to start an investigation to really get to the bottom of this, because they weren't buying what the president was selling. And honestly, some people even on there said that they felt personally insulted that Texas A&M and the president would even try to feed them that baloney, because she was sounding ridiculous. I mean, honestly, the people said a lady said, I am personally insulted that she would even come on here and try to feed us this garbage. I'm paraphrasing, but that's basically what she said. So the Texas A&M Senate meeting happened where they talked to the president. Like the next day, the president resigned. After that, the head of Texas A&M Department of Communications and Journalism put out a letter from his attorney. Now, that is also worth reading. But the main part of that letter that stood out to me is that he said that job offers were sent out to Dr. Elroy that had his electronic signature on there without his consent. Basically, the man said that somebody forged his signature and put his signature on these job offers, these other job offers that the president of Texas A&M said never existed. This is what I mean when I said these people was like, she's feeding us some garbage and she is insulting our intelligence. If you really feel like we finna believe this mess. Again, this was the head of Texas A&M Department of Communications and Journalism. He put out this statement via his lawyer. He also went on to say that when he found out that his signature was put on these offer letters without his consent, he took this information to Texas A&M legal department. Shortly thereafter, this is when the president of Texas A&M resigned. This man said he was shocked. He was shocked to see that his signature was on these job offers. That's not it. That's not it either. After all of this happened, because this is honestly very embarrassing. It's embarrassing that a president of an institution like this will honestly just be blatantly lying. Like, I'm sorry, she was just lying. She was lying, or she was trying to hold plausible deniability, one or the other, because the story that she was trying to sell during that faculty meeting was just not believable, and it was honestly embarrassing. After the Texas faculty meeting, after President Banks resigned, after the faculty decided that they wanted to do a fact-finding investigation, people that work at Texas A&M are starting to speak out and just say just how embarrassing this is. And they're coming from the point of, how can we ensure any of our staff or anybody that we're trying to bring in to become staff at this school, that, they're going to be given fairness and, equal opportunity. If higher ups have the reach to be able to just make a call and just, derail somebody's whole job, or they could just get somebody fired. This is what the people at the school are saying, and that's a very good point. If they already had a signing party for Dr. Elroy, if y'all already made it public, if y'all already had this lady leave her job, you mean to tell me that someone can make a call and cause her from going from a 5-year deal with tenure to a 1-year deal where she can get fired at any time? That means that someone has enough reach to be able to make that happen. So this is what people at the school are saying, and they're saying that that's illegal. There shouldn't be pressure from anywhere. There are systems in place to ensure that no outside pressure should be able to impact a public institution like this. So an associate dean of Texas A&M School of Agriculture has stepped down. She put out a letter stepping down, and she said that she could no longer confidently tell job candidates from different backgrounds that they be given a fair shot. How embarrassing is that? If this whole thing was not already enough, if they hadn't already sustained enough embarrassment, another story came out. Now, the story was a student who has ties to higher ups at Texas A&M attended a lecture. Supposedly, during this lecture, a professor criticized Texas lieutenant governor. So the student went back and told her parent, who has ties to higher ups at Texas A&M, she went back and told her parent that her teacher criticized the Texas lieutenant governor. Within hours, I'm gonna read it. It said within hours, Texas A&M chancellor was texting the lieutenant governor to let him know that the professor had been suspended pending an investigation. WTNVF. Within hours of the lecture and the student complaining, the same student who whose parents is a higher up at Texas A&M. So she was at the lecture. The professor supposedly criticized the Texas lieutenant governor. The student went and told her parent, who's a higher up at Texas A&M. Clearly, this parent must have went and told somebody, because the article says that within 2 hours, Texas A&M chancellor was texting, not emailing. He was texting the Texas lieutenant governor to let him know that the professor had been suspended pending an investigation. This article also went on to say that the Texas A&M chancellor, he communicated directly with the lieutenant governor's office, promising swift action. The professor was put on administrative leave. This literally ties into the story that I was just telling you about with Dr. Elroy. Clearly, there is some type of pressure, because I didn't even know that the Texas A&M chancellor and the lieutenant governor could even be on that type of friendly basis, where something that happens in a classroom, if the governor gets, criticized in a classroom by a teacher, that the chancellor of the school would be texting the governor and saying that, don't worry, we're gonna figure this out, and she's been nearly fired. What type of stuff is this? I mean, honestly, keep your eyes on what's going on at Texas A&M, because I think that this is just the tip of the iceberg. I honestly think that it's going to get much worse, because, like I said before, the university faculty voted and said that they wanted to have a fact-finding investigation, because they really want to get to the bottom of what caused Dr. Elroy from being offered a 5-year deal to a 1-year deal. Who were these people from higher ups that were putting pressure on the Texas A&M president to make her change the deal? Keep your eyes on what's going on at Texas A&M, because I feel like it's finna get real. If it ain't got real already, it's finna get super real. So let's get into what's going on at FAMU. I hate this. I really hate that we even gave ESPN and these other outlets a story, because it is a rarity that they cover anything positive about HBCUs. Nevertheless, though, I think this is worth talking about. FAMU football team decided that it was a brilliant, let me be clear, not the football, FAMU football players, some of them decided that it was a brilliant idea to allow a rapper, I'm not even going to say his name, to allow a seemingly decently popular rapper to shoot a music video in their locker room. The video went like viral. I follow a lot of HBCU students and graduates, so it was all down my timeline. It was only a matter of time before the people at A&M, the actual administration, came out and said something. They came out and said that they were less than pleased that this was an unauthorized music video and that this video did not represent their values and what they stand for. I don't even know why the FAMU football players even thought that this was a good idea. I don't even why would you ever think that this was okay? I mean, seriously. After this happened, after it went viral, after the, administration put out their statement, the school suspended all football operations pending an investigation. The investigation is not over, but they have now resumed all football activities. But who knows what's going to happen with the players, or some of them are going to lose their scholarships, or if they're going to be, disciplined in some type of way. I'm not going to lie to you. I don't think that they should lose their scholarships, but I do think that there should be some type of disciplinary action, because I think that it's a slippery slope. If you let one thing slide, if you get somebody an inch, they're going to take a whole yard. They're going to take a mile. So I do think that they need to do some type of thing to be able to set the tone and make it be known that this is not okay. We're not just about to have people coming in here and shooting, music videos in our locker room or on our property. That's not okay. You can't just do that. And I don't know why the football team would even let this man come in here and shoot this video. I'm blue. I am blue for the FAMU administration. Why did y'all think that this was okay? I seen some people on Twitter what's the problem? It was a couple different things. I seen some people on Twitter that was like, what's the problem? They don't see anything wrong with this at all, especially because this is an HBCU. It's not clicking for me. I'm not understanding what that means. So because it's the HBCU, we should let this go on. If anything, what are you trying to say that says about HBCUs that this would be okay? Secondly, I seen the argument of what's the difference, because these same rappers or these same artists, similar to this one who shot the video, they can come to homecoming. And I seen a very good contrary point to that, which was during the homecoming, for one, they bleep out the lyrics. That's for one, that they usually give the clean version of their songs. And if it's anything that's too wild, shoot 'em up bang bang, they're not even finna let you do that song. So that point is vetoed. That doesn't even count. And for two, homecoming, it is an authorized performance. You were authorized to come here and do this. This was not authorized by anyone except the football players, who don't have the right to authorize anybody to do anything. I hate this. I really do hate this, because as soon as this story came out, this was all over ESPN. ESPN was talking about this nonstop. I don't like that, because I don't see a lot of coverage on the positive things that go on at HBCUs all the time. But stories like this, or stories like the Ed Reed whole situation with when he was trying to go to Bethune, we was talking about that nonstop. We was talking about, Deion Sanders and, Jackson State nonstop. That's when a lot of negative press came to HBCUs during both of those events, when Ed Reed was like, Deion Sanders was right. Now, what does that mean? What I don't see them talking about is the lack of, lack of representation of HBCU athletes in a lot of these professional leagues, whether it be the NFL, whether it be the MLB, whether it be the NBA. I don't see them talk about that, if at all. I didn't see them running coverage when, Deion Sanders said that there was only one HBCU athlete that was drafted in the NFL draft. Deion Sanders said, of all the HBCU athletes that, declared for the draft, there were only one that y'all thought that was worthy of being drafted. I mean, honestly. During the NBA draft, I talked about that on that episode that happened. There was not even a one athlete that was drafted from an HBCU. Do ESPN be talking about that? So, like I seen constantly being tweeted on Twitter, I want ESPN and all of these other platforms that made sure to talk about this FAMU story that was not necessarily positive. I want them to give them the same coverage during the season when they're getting buckets, when they're getting yards, when they're scoring touchdowns, when it's all things that are positive. I want them to be getting the same coverage. And I thank ESPN in advance for it. In keeping with sports, the NBA Charlotte Hornets have officially been sold. That means that Michael Jordan is no longer a majority owner. So sad. He was a majority owner for 13 years. I'm going to have to go do some research now and see if there are any more Black majority owners. I know that recently that Dwayne Wade became, I think he's a minority owner in the, I think it's the Utah Jazz. So that's good, but I'm gonna have to go do some research and see if there are any more Black majority owners in the NBA. And last but not least, in sport, I want to send prayers out to Bronny James. LeBron James' son. News came out this week that Bronny James suffered cardiac arrest during a workout at the University of Southern California, I believe. During a workout at USC. So I just wanted to send prayers out to Bronny James. Honestly, that's just a very sad situation. My mom was just saying that so many people that are young are going through so many different things medically. We don't know if it's in the food, if it's in the air. I don't know. Maybe we not eating our fruits and veggie like our old heads used to do back in the day. But it just seems like young people are just having different medical complications and they are not living old, that we're supposed to grow old, and at this point our parents are outliving us. So that's pretty sad. So prayers out to Bronny James and his family. Just lift them up in your thoughts and prayers. And more health news, I'm going to talk about fandom, talking about Jamie Foxx. So thank goodness Jamie Foxx seems to be on the mend. He came out and he gave a health update. If you didn't know, news came out, I think maybe a couple months ago, that Jamie Foxx was dealing with some pretty serious health complications. It was pretty evident that stuff was pretty serious because a lot of famous people that he were close with, were putting out long, get well messages. So it was honestly pretty scary, and we never really got any concrete answers on what was going on. So that just caused way more speculation. So after months of speculation, after his daughter came out and said that her dad was at home just fine, that he was playing pickleball, people thought that, she was lying. They were calling her a liar. So Jamie Foxx has finally come out. He finally gave a statement saying that he's on the mend and that for the sake of his own health during that time, that he was trying to keep everything just private, and that thanks to his family, his sister, and his niece for helping him keep everything private. Two things that I want to talk about with this Jamie Foxx thing. One, the conspiracy theorists, after people have been really begging to see Jamie Foxx, wanting to know if he's okay. Soon as the man showed his face, now y'all saying that it's a clone, that it's not really Jamie Foxx. This is why people don't even want to give y'all nothing, because he didn't have to come out and ever show his face. Probably waited so long for this exact reason. And as soon as he did, people are having hella stuff to say that's not positive. What is even the point of even saying, he looked different, he don't look the same? What do you expect after someone deals with such a serious medical complication? He's gonna look the exact same? No, granted, he may look a little bit different because he was fighting for his life. In anything, why is that even worth pointing out? Like the stuff that people say is like beyond ignorant. The other part of this that I want to talk about is the fan entitlement. Even after Jamie Foxx came out and said he's okay, people were still like, what was the matter? What happened? And people were saying that he owed us to know that, it shouldn't have taken him this long, that he should have been said something because fans were like praying for him. This goes back to a blog post that I wrote a long time ago that said, how is it, why come that just because I want to be great, I want to perform my craft at the highest level, that just means that I give away all of my privacy, that people are entitled to my life because I've reached a level where I can do my craft at such a high level. That means that I don't have privacy. No, I don't think that's what that means. Just because someone is famous, just because you feel like, because you buy their songs, or you purchase their merch, or you go to their concert, or you watch their movie, that means that you are somehow entitled to know about their full life. That's not what that means. These are still regular people, like regular people who have feelings, who want to maintain privacy, who have lives. Like, they don't owe you anything, honestly. Nothing at all. They don't owe you a darn thing. Before we get into the things that had me like WTF, even though what I'm going to talk about is WTF in itself, I want to get into the environment. There's been so much that's going on with the environment. Honestly, it's been making me a little scared because, like, is the world about to end? It's been given like something is happening and we don't know about it. Hence, like, people trying to go deep into the ocean, like y'all trying to run for something. Now we got people keep going into space. Like, now is something going on where we're not supposed to be on Earth, where y'all trying to go in the ocean, or y'all trying to go in space? Tell me. Don't let me be the last one to know. Let me know now. I keep a secret. I won't tell a soul. Couple of things with the environment that I want to talk about. Wildfires. Canada wildfires are still wreaking havoc. In the Midwest, the air quality has been piss poor. In addition to the allergies and the sinuses, these wildfire air quality is really doing me in. What WTF? What's going on with that? It's not just wildfires in Canada. There's also been wildfires in Algeria. I read a tweet and it was showing it, like the wildfire was like covering the whole sky. It was honestly scary. And a tweet that I read said that the wildfire has been burning across 16 provinces. 34 people are dead, and the temperature has reached 122 degrees Fahrenheit. I'm saying it again. Temperature has reached 122 degrees. I can imagine. I could not imagine 122. It don't even seem like that should even be possible for it to be able to get that hot. The same tweet in the same thread was saying that it's been wildfires in other countries. It listed all the countries there where it has been wildfires in: Greece, Italy, Turkey, Spain, France, Algeria, and Tunisia. These are all countries that have been experiencing wildfires. Now, granted, I've always heard about wildfires in California. Not saying that wildfires is a new concept or that it has never happened. I'm saying, has it happened in this many places for such an extended period of time at the same time, is what I'm saying. What is going on with all of these things happening at one time? Like, I think something is going on. More environment news. Adding that on with more environment news, whales are stranding themselves. Now, what I really learned about that is essentially means they're like killing themselves. They're washing up on the beach, which is causing them to die in mass loads, like 100 whales all washed up on the beach, essentially killing themselves, depriving themselves of oxygen and water. Do the whales know something that we don't know, where they are killing themselves? The story I read that says that in Australia, where this happened, the people that work there with the animals are actively now trying to save the whales, and that volunteers are signing up to keep watch and make sure that more whales don't wash up and strand themselves on the beach. That's not it. Fish are washing up. Loads, thousands of dead fish washed up on the Texas Gulf Coast. I mean, I seen that video. It was thousands of like dead fish just like laying on the sand. Experts say this was caused by a depletion of oxygen due to high water temperatures. Adding that on with the wildfires, the temperature reaching 122 degrees. Then we have the whales are stranding themselves on the beach. 1,000 fish are washing up in the Gulf of in the Texas Gulf Coast, and Florida water temperatures have exceeded 100 degrees Fahrenheit for back-to-back days. The article I read said the water has been so hot it feels like a hot tub. Again, I'm not an environmentalist, even though clearly what's going on, I probably should have been. It's probably not late. It's probably not too late. I probably should just hop on it now, seeing as how stuff is going. Clearly, there's something going on with the environment that, we are not privy to, and maybe the animals know more than we know. Next episode, I want to double back to a couple of topics that are definitely worth getting into. I wanted to get into the WGA strike. I don't know how I keep on missing this each episode, but I definitely want to get into that. And I want to talk about what a couple of actors have said. We're going to talk about that. We're also going to talk about, I believe his name, which I honestly don't care if I mess it up, James Aladdin. I think he's a country singer who put out a song called Try That in a Small Town. That song has caused quite a bit of controversy. I'm assuming you can guess why. What is he trying to say? I seen a comparison that said, how would y'all feel if Lil Durk put out a song that said, try that on the south side of Chicago? What do you think that Lil Durk would be saying if he said that? So what do you think that James Aladdin is saying when he's saying, try that in a small town? Okay. We're also going to talk about Stanford University president has resigned. He has resigned after a report found flaws in his research. I find this to be so interesting because this story of the Stanford president having flaws in his research, the story was cracked by a Stanford freshman. How did a freshman come in here and find something that other people could have found out a long time ago? Shout outs to the youth. We are out here doing the darn thing. We're going to get into all of that on the next episode. We're definitely going to double back to that. Now let's get into all the things that had me like WTF, because the streets have definitely been a-raging. Let's start with Elon Musk. Elon decided that he was going to rebrand Twitter as X. I might have to double back to this as well, because what is Elon Musk's, fixation on the letter X? I seen a tweet that just listed all of his different fixations on the letter X, going down to his son, somehow, I think, being named X, and at one time, him trying to launch a company with the X, and then something with PayPal, and he was trying to something with the letter X. He clearly has a fixation with the letter X. So he decided that he was going to rebrand it. Again, why try to fix something that's not broken? He tried to rebrand it. With that being said, at his San Francisco headquarters, they tried to take down the Twitter sign. And when he had his nice team go and try to take it down, the police pulled up and stopped the whole operation because Elon Musk did not get the proper permits. How embarrassing is that? Another edition of how Elon Musk ruined the greatest social media app. I hate Twitter now. I simply hate it. Something else that had me like WTF, and honestly, this is sad. I'm not even laughing, and don't y'all be laughing either. Mitch McConnell. During a news conference, he was speaking. He was mid-sentence during a news conference, and he just stops. I mean, like, that's how he was. He was speaking, and then he suddenly just stopped, and I mean, he stood there like frozen for like, I don't know, like a good 45 seconds, so they finally escorted him away. This is a clear indication if nothing else said this, that there needs to be an age limit. If you have to be like 44 years old to be able to become president, if there are certain age limits in place to be able to, age requirements in place to be able to become a politician, there should be age limits in place that take you out of office once you reach this certain age. It is no way that this should be going on. He should be immediately voted out. Like, however the process works, he shouldn't even be in office no more. He shouldn't even have his role, because how can we in good faith trust that you can do your job when you just stop mid-sentence? It has not been explained yet. What caused him to just stop speaking mid-sentence? And is he all right? Is he okay? In all seriousness, is the man all right? This right here, that last one was not funny, but this is funny because you play stupid games, you win stupid prizes. This is what happens when you call yourself trying to be funny, trying to troll. This is what happens. A YouTuber called himself going to a WNBA game and calling himself taking a nap. Because I guess he was maybe trying to say it's that boring that, I'm just going to take a nap. Well, he has now been banned indefinitely from all NBA related events. Ain't that something? You try to play in the WNBA phase, and the NBA say it's all right. Now you are banned from all events. That's what you get in another edition of Play Stupid Games, Win Stupid Prizes. A man, I'm not even going to say his name because right now I'm sure he has enough heat on him. A man put on YouTube a full tutorial. I won't lie, it was very catchy song. He put out a full tutorial on how to commit wire fraud. I mean, the man went step by step on how to do it. Now, the video has been taken down, and the police are seeking information about his account. Why you couldn't just move in silence? You could have just got your bag in silence. But no. You have to come out and tell the whole world how you was getting it done. Now it is very plausible that you're finna be behind bars. You play stupid games, win stupid prizes. The US, apparently, according to a former US intelligence official, the US government is in possession of UFOs. Excuse me? UF what? Now, seeing this said on Twitter, the same Twitter that Elon is ruining. The point is not that there are UFOs, because this has been speculated for quite a while. The story is, why are they telling us now, at this very moment in time, that there are UFOs? That's the story right there. I'll wait. Last but not least, because I think I'm about done from reading this one, because this has to be a joke. This has to be a joke. Speak about disappointment. Ice Cube took Tucker Carlson for a ride through the hood in LA. This is the same Ice Cube that was catching quite a bit of heat not that long ago when he was like collabing with 45 on the Platinum Plan. This is the same Ice Cube. Yeah, so he took Tucker Carlson for a ride through LA, and he also appeared on Tucker Carlson's Twitter show. What's going on with Ice Cube? Now, I am not saying, and I am not of the belief that Black people, or really anybody, should subscribe to a party, one, because of pressure, two, because of just your race. Like, if you Black, then you got to be Democrat. If you white, then you got to be Republican. I'm not of that. I believe that you should really do your own research. I mean, honestly, really look at who you're supporting, what their policies are, what their history is, who they're connected with. That's what I believe. So I'm not saying that, Ice Cube is wrong if he is a Republican. I'm not saying that anybody is wrong because they're a Republican, because honestly, I think that if we all do a little bit of research into all of the parties, the main parties, Democrat and Republican, you may find that you might align with something that you didn't think that you would align with, and that might be for a party that you didn't think that you favored. So I'm not of that belief. My problem with Ice Cube is the people that he is aligning with. All of the things that Donald Trump has said and did, not just to Black people, but just women in general, this is who you choose to like partner with. Of all the ignorant things that Tucker Carlson has said, you choose to like basically give him some money because you're attaching your name and likeness to his show. Like, this is who you choose to like give money to. This is who you choose to like partner up with. This is who you choose to like put your name up there with. This is how you want to go down in history. WTF. I mean, honestly, Ice Cube, WTF. That wraps up all the things that had me on WTF for today's episode. Unfortunately, we've come to the end of today's episode. Hope that you enjoyed as much as I enjoyed recording it. It's been a blast. I will catch you here for more Straight Talk with No Chaser next week. Same place, same time. I'm Heaven Charnice, aka Heavie, and I'm out.